morning in this great blue state. Golden fingers caress my face, slips through the window on a silky breeze. A dreamer's line to plant some seeds.
This is Jim, engineer and yachtsman. I'm Adriana, Brazilian by birth and an author. And of course, this is Lucy, a Cocker Spaniel Poodle cross, mascot of our boat, Kikamalu, a 42-foot Swanson. Our dream? To sail where the wind blows. Last time we showed you beautiful Port Stephens. This time, before our son arrives from the UK, there are a few jobs to do. You may have seen how in another video we converted the starboard cabin into a fridge and storage room. To make it a cabin again for Jason, we've decided to move the fridge to the forepeak, which incidentally is where I always wanted it to go. This means our boat is a mess, but it's all worth it to have a cabin again. After our sail from Newcastle to Port Stephens, we noticed that the motor was leaking transmission oil into the bilge. We are losing about a litre of oil every 10 hours of motoring. To diagnose the problem, the first step is to thoroughly clean the transmission and the bilge below, then to top up the oil. Next, we let it sit. When there were no trips after a few days, we ran the engine in gear at cruising speed for 20 minutes. With the transmission fluid under pressure, we soon found the leak.
So we found where it was dripping using a sheet of cardboard underneath the motor. The problem was this oil return line. It's simply this thing here just needed tightening up. So that saved a huge job in terms of pulling out the transmission. So that was a great relief.
It's time to go to Sydney to pick up our son from the airport. He's been living in the UK for the past year and a half, and we're so excited to see him.
I wake up in the morning.
Sadly, the way into Sydney is blanketed by smoke from fires which have burnt more than 5 million hectares, with 8 people dead so far and an estimated 500 million animals killed.
To plant some seed. She's my believer, healing all my doubts. A lighted mirror.
Home cooked meal, AJ?
Yep, very tasty.
Bedrock belief, an elaborate plot to set this bird free. From every element faced, every color that's attached. She paints pictures blue and green, and I release them to the sea for the ancient memories, just as fleeting as a breeze. She paints pictures blue and green, and I release them to the sea.
Nelson Head Lighthouse Cottage is all that's left of the original lighthouse that once stood on this headland just inside the entrance to Port Stephens. In 1875, this headland was chosen for the lighthouse because it provided the best views of the extensive waters of the port.
And I join the tune, all the sirens calling, the crows leave their trees, but a peace pervades us, and the dreamers dream. From every element of base, every color that's attached, she paints pictures blue and green, and I release them to the sea for the ancient memories, just as fleeting as a breeze. She paints pictures blue and green, and I release them to the sea.
So that's the repaired staysail,
Yeah,
where they repaired the foot.
and we had to put a new sun cover on.
Jason wants to do some sailing, and we want to take him somewhere special. And what better anchorage than Broughton Island, a beautiful marine park approximately 15 nautical miles northeast of Port Stephens.
Down by the sea, at the edge of the water, the coming waves kiss my feet.
Where are we going to today, Jason?
Broughton Island.
That's blowing I don't know for how long I can carry on, pretending that everything's alright, and that it will be fine. I step into the water to wash away the pain. The devil's breath on my neck, but the touch from a warm wind is blowing in.
It's interesting to try to imagine as we sail through these heads how Port Stephens must have looked millions of years ago. A vast elevated plain surrounded by volcanoes whose massive eruptions created outcrops from lava flow. Apparently it became an estuary only around 70,000 years ago, when the plain was flooded by sea level rise of a whopping 60 metres. The higher points that remained above water are the islands we see today, including Broughton Island. And the reason why the sands here are so white and beautiful? Quartz. When we walk on sand here, we're walking on crystals. Is it any wonder people love this place?
In the air, in the air, in the air.
So we're heading into the wind, about 15 knots. We've got a staysail and a full main up, and we're sailing along at about 3.5 to 4.5 knots with a 1 knot current against us. We should get to Broughton Island in a couple of hours. It's time to set off and explore the island. As it's a national park, Lucy can't come, so Jim has elected to kindly stay and keep her company.
Turn around and show your face. Let me see.
We are told that for thousands of years, the Warumi people paddled in bark canoes from the mainland to fish here, braving the sharks that used the island as a nursery. From the late 1800s, Italian and Chinese fishermen camped on the island, and in the early years of the 20th century, they put down roots in the sand. On the north side, a group of Greek fishermen called their settlement Little Salonika, while here on the south shore, British Australians built shacks that have since been rebuilt and modified. Around 30 years ago, the New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service wanted the huts gone, but the hut owners and users fought back and managed to hold on to their huts and the legacy of their forefathers. The island covers 114 hectares and is an important habitat for an amazing array of wildlife, from ghost crabs on beaches to seabird colonies on rocky outcrops to penguins, mutton birds and shearwaters.
Stay close when it rains. Let me keep parts of you.
There are 3 anchorages on the island. Esmeralda Cove is best used during a north to northeasterly, Coalshaft Bay during a southeasterly, and Providence Beach, where we're headed to, is best during a southerly.
So beautiful, and if you fall, I will catch you.
Providence Beach's warm, crystal clear water and shallow sandy bottom makes this beach a perfect place for a swim.
We are silver line, one of a kind, you and me. We will dance away the gloomy days right here.
Being part of a marine park, Broughton Island's reefs are an important habitat for fish of all kinds, including the green turtle and the threatened grey-nosed shark. After a short but refreshing swim in this shark habitat, it was time to go. We had to get back before a southerly blow came. But we'll be back on our way north and show you more of this stunning island in the coming weeks.
Be alive with me.
So we left reluctantly. We'll spend one last night with Jason before driving him to Sydney so he can spend time with family and friends. It's hard to accept we'll be saying goodbye to him after Christmas. But as a wise Sufi poet once said, all of life is really just a balance of holding on and letting go. Achieving this balance is difficult, but it's also empowering.
I feel in my spite, I'll push you around. 'Cause I hear the horses are coming, it won't be long. I will always have open eyes, come alive. I will hold you away, my dear.
We're approaching Cabbage Tree Island, about 3 miles off at the moment.
got about only 7 knots of true wind speed, and we're doing about 4 knots on a sort of beam reach. Very pleasant sailing conditions.
Lucy says if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Press the like button, share it with your friends, and tell us what you think. If you'd like to be notified about our next video, don't forget to press the bell button. And if you'd like to support us further, why not consider becoming a patron? Ciao for now.
We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas.